Hello, today I've got yet another true wireless model, and now it's made by Whizzer, it's B6. There are more true wireless models coming, so if you are not a fan of such form factor, beware. In terms of specifications and in terms of features, actually B6 ticks almost every boxes, because Whizzer positions them as a sport earbuds, and they did a lot to achieve that. So as you can see, IPX7 waterproof, so you can, well, maybe not swim with these earbuds, but they don't afraid of falling into water. But of course I wouldn't rely much on swimming with them anyway. aptX, and it's definitely present Bluetooth 5.0 with latest Qualcomm 3020 codec, and what else we've got in specifications? More than 6 hours of music playback from single charge, and it's true, and about I don't know, actually like 6 charges also in case, so it's more than 40 hours of playback. Current price is about $80, and actually that's pretty much about them. And let's have a closer look. So as you can see, pretty nice box. As usual, it's a bit hard to open, but I succeed. Inside of the box you will have the case with earbuds themselves, small manual with information about controls. Of course, there is an English version, so power on, power off, pairing mode, so on and so forth. And what is good, you can change volume via long presses of earpieces, so you can control volume without getting to your device. I think it's really good idea during the workout. USB-C cable for charging, and a set of additional ear tips. You will have a pair of foams and 2 additional pair of silicone tips. And as you can see, pretty unusual case. It's big, but it has big battery inside, so it supports wireless charging if you'd like, but here you will have regular USB-C for charging if you want. And what is interesting, it's the way of opening, because you need to do it this way. It's open into 2 halves. It has a good strong magnet. It could be open with one hand, but of course two-handed operation is more comfortable here. So here they are. Earpieces themselves are pretty big, but they are fitting nicely into ears. Orient them vertically and they will fit really nicely. Good fit, good wearing comfort, smooth shape, you know, everything is done really good. Nice extended spout, so sound isolation is about average, maybe a bit more protective grill. So you can use regular tips, no special tips required for them. Here LED indicators, they also you can be used as a sensors for control, and then you just can put them back. So left one goes here, right one goes here, and then you just clip them back. And there are LED indicators here showing the level of charge staying in case. What else I can say? They are really reliable in terms of connection, you know, up to 10 meters with 2 walls between them, almost 0 issues with interruptions. Usually you can use earpieces separately and so on. So all the regular stuff that you can expect for the true wireless model. Microphone quality is average, so it's, you know, it's basic state for almost all true wireless models. I know only one, I've tested only one model that can be used for making calls in the noisy environment, and Probably you can easily guess that it was Apple AirPods. I'd like to test new AirPods Pro, but not in near future definitely. More or less acceptable was Huawei FlyPods Lite, or whatever was their name that I've tested, and all other true wireless models. They are just okay. So they actually not okay, average. Probably average is a bit worse than okay. So they can be used in some quiet environment and your voice will be heard pretty clearly. But when there is some noise outside, it's definitely noticeable. It has that Qualcomm CVC noise suppression algorithm, but it's not working that good. But besides that, it's a really nice model in terms of ergonomics, in terms of specifications, work time, and other stuff. There is a slight delay between the video and sound, but it's really small, like 20 milliseconds, or it's barely noticeable with special tests. I didn't have issues with some videos. And of course about the sound, here I used some dynamic driver with graphene diaphragm, and actually, to my taste, Whizzer managed to create a pretty good tuning for sports earbuds. So let's put some player on the table. I need to show some examples as usual, and let's proceed to the description. When I was preparing to this review, I've found few reviews of Whizzer B6, and actually in few of them reviewers mentioned that these earbuds are lacking bass, and they have rolled off sub bass, and actually there was even some graph measurement showing that, but I can't agree with that absolutely. Of course, they are not bass heavy, they don't have accented low frequencies, but at the same time they have pretty linear and at the same time tight and punchy bass, pretty energetic. It's not balanced armatures, it's nice tight dynamic driver bass. Of course it suffers a bit from the Bluetooth compression, but anyway it still stays pretty thumping. I don't know what is the purpose. Maybe it's some wrong measurement and wrong measurement interpretation, or maybe another assumption that Whizzer quickly fixed this issue, but anyway, my pair is pretty okay in terms of bass for me. And actually, as an example, here it is. So should add more brightness as usual. So basically I took maybe not the most bass heavy track in my collection, but pretty bassy cookie Thumper, and all punches, all kicks are present. As I've said before, it's not a bass heavy, so bass is not accented to be thrown right into your face, but at the same time it's pretty engaging and pretty punchy. So I've tried a few another bass heavy tracks. I've tried Onuka, it's Ukrainian electronic folk project. I've tried Juno Reactor. Maybe it's not the bassiest model, but bass is present, and actually moreover it's present even in the track that I've selected for the mids example, but I will cover it a bit later. So mids have okay resolution. It's not super resolving in ear monitors. Of course, wired models will be better because it's dynamic driver and it's tuned to be a bit on the more massive and more energetic side, and that means that you won't have the maximum resolution, but at the same time it's normal resolution for true wireless models. Definitely not the worst one of all those that I've tried. Good resolution, normal level of emotions representation, and actually surprisingly pretty decent stage. It's about average in width and a bit below average in depth, but for pretty warmly tuned in-ear monitors and for true wireless model, I can say that this result is also pretty good. So really enjoyable way of tuning for me. And as an example, I've got scorpions. Usually, we take scorpions and it should be something like Still Loving You, or in the best case it could be Rock You Like a Hurricane. But no, I'm not a big fan of Scorpions, but I like their album. Actually, it was 1999, Eye to Eye. It was pretty bold experiment for them. They've experimented with electronic music, they've experimented with some pop music, and they've created pretty nice album. And to be number one, it's kind of, probably I'd say that it's something influenced by pop punk genre, pretty driving, pretty emotional, pretty fast model and at the same time pretty simple, but with distorted guitars and so on. And actually that was a track that I've mentioned before. On this track, drums are really prominent as well as bass guitar, so rhythm section is a bit highlighted with these in-ear monitors, but at the same time resolution is pretty normal to represent Klaus Meine voice and distorted guitars. Actually, it won't be probably the best choice for some brutal metal genres, but actually it's not a genre for true wireless at all, because it requires good upper mids and Bluetooth codecs really spoils them. And treble, well, it's also hard to describe treble for the true wireless model, because compared with the wired model, it's not that good, because it's lacking extension. It's a bit simplified comparing with the wired models in the $100 range, but at the same time, for true wireless model, it's pretty okay. Treble here is at least present. It's not recessed much to be absolutely inaudible, so it's not that kind of recessed treble. Of course, attacks and decays are simplified and it's lacking extension, but actually lacking extension it's common for all true wireless models, because it's a matter of Bluetooth codec, and even aptX still reducing treble extension, because aptX codecs creators thought that there is not much sense in representing extended treble for vast majority of people. But at the same time, at least it's sounding pretty realistic and it's not too muffled and too veiled. So at least you will have cymbals, you will have percussions, you will have basic overtones, so at least the basic stuff that is necessary, and also it will balance the low frequencies, so I think it's pretty normal achievement. And as an example, I've got Chernobyl original soundtrack. If you are a fan of I really recommend you this mini series, but actually I think everyone already saw them, and I really recommend you this soundtrack because it's a really great work in the ambient genre. And I've got, it's probably third track, it's Turbine Hall. It's actually just different noises forming the soundscape, and as usual, such track require normal treble performance. Of course, wired model could be better here, but this true wireless plays pretty okay with this track. So basically, it's a bit shifted towards massive and weighty representation, but at the same time it's normal dynamic drivers that manage to play pretty enjoyable and pretty okay. It's pumpy, it's energetic, it's really, not the best in terms of staging, in terms of treble, but still pretty enjoyable model. Speaking about comparisons, just briefly a few models that I've tested recently, and maybe I need to create longer video with true wireless comparison. Actually, they've got magnets here, so they stick to each other. So basically I can say that it's a bit overperforming Mi Audio true wireless models that I've tested, because Mi Audio is too bassy to my taste, but if you like bass representation, Mi Audio could be better for you, but this one is weighty but still more resolving. And Jade Audio, also known as Fio's True Wireless EW1, it's more tuned towards audiophilic, you will get a bit better treble, but at the same time a bit thinner mids and a bit less punchy lows with EW1. So it's kind of, they're tuned more towards neutrality, not natural, but moving towards that direction. And this one is more weighty, so it's with accented weight. And AudioSense S80, they are more musical and actually more natural, but at the same time they are not as weighty as this one. So to summarize everything, basically, if you need something for sport, and if you like to get really good energetic representation, and if you like long work time, zero connection issues, well, at least in my experience, zero connection issues, it's a really solid and well-built model. Thank you for attention.